Hello, my name is Scott Grove. What we're going to do today is teach you from square one, just like you've never touched a guitar before in your life, how to play rock and roll guitar. We're going to basically be teaching you rhythm guitar today. Lead guitar will come later. I have lessons available for lead guitar. I'm going to teach you all of your basic chords, being your A chord, your B, C, D's, E's, F, and G, and what to do with those chords. Okay? I know right now it's not sounding rock and roll, within about 15 seconds it will. What we're going to be doing with those chords. Okay, so we're going to go through all those chords because you have to have them. Okay, now what's going to get you most excited and what we're going to start you off with to keep you excited is what is called a bar chord. B-A-R-R-E. That's how we spell it. Okay, now so simply what that is a single chord. You play it and you keep it the same way all the time. This chord never changes. You just move that same chord around on the neck. Okay, so that is a bar chord. I'm going to show you how to do those. Those are what, with the sound of distortion, this, compared to the way the guitar sounded before, which was clean. Now we have added distortion, which is simply, you can get it off of some of your amplifiers. Some of them you just go out and buy a little pedal, you step on it, all of a sudden it sounds like rock and roll time. It's distortion. Okay, back to the bar chords. We're going to teach you how to use those. Like I said, it is one chord that you use all the way through pretty much any song you want to do. You have songs, old time songs from the 50s. You move up to the 70s. You go up to the 90s. It don't matter where you go, but see, from beginning of rock and roll all the way up, even through today, everybody uses these. Like, you know, even Green Day, every band that's out there, this is basically the only kind of chord they know how to play. You can be a millionaire and only know how to play a bar chord. So that's what we're going to start you off with today. So anyway, I'm going to show you all kinds of other stuff, from how to tune your guitar, everything, all within an hour. And that's the beauty of this. You can back it up anytime you want. I'm going to throw a lot of the formalities by. They're going to breeze by. You simply just write them down or whatever. Anyway, I'm going to teach you all this stuff in just a second. But anyway, you guys have fun. We're going to get right into this rock and roll thing. We're going to knock it out, take all the mystery out of how to play a guitar, make you a rock star. It will take you no time, I promise. Okay, so enjoy the video. This thing kicks butt over anything that's out there. I will teach you quicker and faster than anything that you've ever seen. So, sit back, have fun, and rock on, guys. Okay, we are back. This here's about all you're going to see of me for the next hour. Okay, I promise you we're going to have to do some things right off the bat. Okay, I want you to, on your guitar, no matter what kind of guitar you have, turn all the knobs on it wide open. Okay, that's where you're going to get your best sound, is your guitar wide open. If you take your guitar and you start turning down the volume, everything goes away. Not just your volume, but your tone goes away. It don't sound, it sounds all bassy like that. Now you've got all your tone back. So the general rule here, just for one thing, is to keep your guitar, everything on it, wide open all the time. If you ever want to turn it down, my suggestion is you can go a little bit down with it, but it's going to, you know, lose your tone a little bit. They do make actual volume pedals. Looks like a gas pedal. Go ask for one. Morley is the one I would use. It's the only one out there that does not take away your tone. It's actually active, which means it plugs in. Otherwise, every other volume pedal you use out there would actually sound like turning down your guitar. You're going to lose all your tone. Okay, so enough with that. Like I said before, you can go from clean sound, which is this, to a distorted sound by pressing on a distortion pedal. And I know that's what 90% of you guys out there are wanting to have. Again, like I said, that's going to be, you know, a basic pedal like this. A lot of amplifiers today have distortion built in them. If you look on your amplifier and you see a control that says gain, that is your distortion. So turn your level or your volume all the way down on your amplifier, turn the gain almost all the way up, and then start turning your volume up on your amp, and that will give you your distortion. That's actually what I'm using now, is the distortion that's built in my amplifier. But for $15, $20 you can go out and get this. And also for about 15 bucks, the best thing in the world to invest in is go out and get yourself, like, you know, a little guitar tuner. Okay? I'm going to show you how to tune your guitar real quick. And that's first thing. I'll actually let you match up with my tones in 2 seconds. When you're actually tuning your guitar, anytime you take one of these tuners and tune it down, what you're going to have to do when you're tuning it back up is actually take that string that you just tuned down, bend it a little bit, give it a little yank or something. It actually takes the tension or the slack back at it, because after you tune it back up, after you tune it down or something, that's what I'm looking for. If you tune it down to get to where you're going, your guitar string is going to stretch. The first time you play it, then it's going to be out of tune again. So as soon as you tune it down, give it a good stretch, and then try tuning it again. If you continue to tune upward to get it right up to pitch, then your guitar strings will be okay. But anytime you tune it down, give your strings a little tug, and it will take the stretch out of there, which causes your guitar to go out of tune later. In the meantime, if you don't have a guitar tuner, download one online. They're all free. If you have a microphone on your computer, get you one. They're free. And you can just play it and it'll tune it up right there on your computer. Otherwise, spend $15, go down to the music store, get yourself a guitar tuner. Okay, right now I want you to match your strings up, tune them up with mine. Okay, this here low string, which is actually the top one here, the biggest, thickest one, is your E string. If it's not in tune with mine, tune it up to mine. Okay? The next one down is your A string. Next one down is your D string. Now your G string. Nobody laugh. Okay? Your next one is your B string. And you've got another E string, your skinniest string. So if you tune to that, you should be in tune. Now, another way you can tune yourself is if you go to, on your E string, the lowest one, or the lowest sounding one, your top string, your E string, you go up to the 5th fret. Your frets are these things that are going across here, the metal bars going across your neck. You'll most likely see you've got dots on the front or some kind of markers on the front, and you'll also have them on the side of your guitar. Okay, if you can see there, we've got dots on the side of the guitar neck. You'll see that on yours too. Basically, that's all you're going to be looking at, is the side of your guitar, because we don't want you to be sitting there looking at your guitar like this while you're trying to play, because the dots are on the side to let you know that the dots are on the front too. So to tune your guitar, if you go to the 5th fret, so that is open if you just play that string by itself, and if you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's actually going to be like the second dot on your guitar. So the 5th fret, play that with the tip of your finger, the very, very, very tip of your finger. Okay? You don't want to play on top of the fret. If you play on top of it, you get that. If you don't press hard enough, you get that. If you play too far away from your fret, You get that sound too. So you want to move as close to the fret as you can, meaning up this way. So as close to that fret as you can with the very tip of your finger only. You're not laying it down, you're using the tip. And move it as close to the fret as you can, and you only have to push down as hard as it takes to make the note ring out. Okay, and that's actually going to be an A note, which you have an A string is what's next. So you just do that, you play the 5th fret on your E string, and then underneath it, play the next string, and they should be the same note. Okay, I'm going to detune my A string. And you just tune it till it's in pitch with the other string. Same thing, you move down to the next string on the A string on the 5th fret, and then play the string that's under it. Okay? And mine are going to be in tune. Then you move it down again and play both those strings together. Here's where it changes. On the G string, which is your 1, 2, 3, start from your skinniest string, 1, 2, third string. On the 4th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4th fret, and play that note. And then the string that's underneath it to tune it. And then we go back up to the 5th fret again for the last two. If that last string was out of tune, you reach up and with your other right hand and tune it. And again, I'm going to stretch that because I did loosen it. Now listen. So it did go out of tune a little bit. Okay, anyway, so that's a quick way to learn how to tune a guitar. You can find that out anywhere on the internet. It will show you that. Okay, now what we're going to do is I want you to write that down. I'm going to show you again, and I will flash these across the screen. You've got your E string, A, D, G, B, and another E string. Okay, write those down. Memorize them. You have to. It's 100% must. I'm going to fly through this stuff because we want to learn how to play. I've got about 2 more minutes of this junk to show you, and then the rest of the time is time to play. Okay, now I'm going to flash these across the string too. How do we find out what all the other notes are on the guitar? Number 1, I'm going to tell you this. Up here we have the 12th fret. Simply you have 2 dots on your guitar. That's where your guitar actually starts over. Right here where the strings come across the top of the guitar. You guys, might be white, it might be black. But that plastic piece, or sometimes it's made out of bone, that's called a nut on a guitar. Okay, that is actually where the guitar starts. Not up here where you tune. It actually starts right here. But this is your 1st fret, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're up here at 12, double dots. Your guitar starts over again. All the notes start over again there. So it's just like the nut here, just like if it was here. But everything is what is called an octave higher. An octave being, okay, I'm going to play my high E string, the skinniest string, open. And then I'm going to play it by pushing down on the 12th fret on that string. So that is E note both times. One is just an octave higher than the other. An octave meaning the whole scale of notes all the way up. 12 notes up. So here's your E and an octave up. But it's still E. Just like this. Your low E string. An octave up is actually an octave up from that, an octave up from that. So I'm going to teach you, okay, here comes all your notes. I'm going to show these to you real quick, how to figure them out. You're on your E string, up here at the top. Okay, there are only 2 notes, okay, write these down. B and E. B and E are the only two notes that do not have any sharps to them. Sharps meaning we're moving up the neck. Flaps mean we're moving down this way. So if I say something is a sharp, like here is E, there is no sharp. If you just wrote it down in E, the very next note you play is F. There is no E sharp. But there is F, second fret, F sharp, third fret where your dot is, that's G, then G sharp, and that's where we end in the alphabet. Music goes from A all the way up to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and actually G sharp before we start to A again. So we're on G sharp, we go to the fifth fret, that is A. So now we'll start A sharp, B, so we're on the 7th fret, that is B. Now if you wrote it down, B is one of those two notes that I told you to write. B does not have a sharp. So you go right from B to C. Then you go C sharp, then D, D sharp, back to E again. You start it over again, you're at the 12th fret. That's going to be that way on every single string. The next string down, your 5th string, this one, is actually A. So you would actually be A without playing anything. Then the 1st fret, A sharp, then B. Again, B has no sharps. So there's C. C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Does not have sharps on E. So from E to F. F, F sharp, G, G sharp, right back to A again because you are at the double dots from where you started. Okay, it's going to be like that on every single string. Okay, one more thing before we start learning how to hold our guitar pick. This is your pick. You hold it between, generally, just your thumb and your finger. Just like I'm showing you here. That's it. You're only going to be using this much of the pick, about 1/4 of it, just the skinny end. Get them thick. Don't get some flimsy old paper one. Get a thick feeling guitar pick. Not like a rock, but get it pretty thick. They actually have gauges on them. This one is 0.73 millimeters. I find it to be the best for me. Okay, but they do come in different thicknesses. So if they were thinner, it'd be a 0.50, or if they were thicker, it'd be like a 1 millimeter. You know, and that's like a rock. And they even make them thicker now. They actually do make them out of rocks, and they make them out of coins and all kinds of things. Anyway, there's how you hold your pick. If you want to use 2 fingers behind it like this, that's cool too, but you'll get used to just playing it this way. Okay, now all your action is going to be in your wrist when you're playing. You see some of the rock and roll stars playing like this. The only thing you're going to do is scratch the holy heck out of your guitar with your pick. You only need to play with your wrist, not your whole arm. Like I said, you're just going to destroy your guitar if you play that way. People do that because it looks good and they can afford to trash their guitars and get brand new ones every day, and I know we all can't. Okay, so like I promised, here we go. We're going to start with what are called our bar chords. And if we have distortion, if you have distortion and you're ready to go, here we go, because I am going to turn on my distortion. Okay? If you have a guitar with 2 pickups like these are what actually picks up the sound. They're like microphones in a way, but they're magnetic and they pick up the actual vibrations of your steel or nickel strings. Okay? If you've got a switch back here, 3-way one, if it is up, you've generally got this pickup on the neck. It's really bassy sounding. You normally aren't going to use that. If it's in the middle, the switch, you've got both of these on. That's really good for when you have like your clean sound without your distortion. But when you go to play distortion, most people will flick it so that just this pickup is on. Back here by the bridge. This is your bridge right here. this being your tailpiece, that just holds the strings, then they go over this bridge. But that's the pickup that most people will use when they use distortion. It just gives a nice bitey sound. Okay, so I've got it on that pickup. I'm turning on my distortion. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do these bar chords. What we're going to do is we're going to start with a G chord. Okay, how do we get to G? Okay, what we're going to do is concentrate solely on these two strings. You've got your E string and your A string. I'm going to use these two strings for this entire lesson to describe how to play these. Okay, so what we're going to do is with your right hand, if you're right-handed, you take your first finger, which is your pointy one. I'm always going to call your fingers this. Your first, your middle one is second, your ring finger third, and then your pinky. I might call it your pinky or your fourth finger. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So your thumb does not do anything except for rest on the back of the guitar neck. Okay, it just rests back there, and it's used to clamp down your hand. So it's like a vice. It's actually pushing on the back of your guitar. So you can't, because if you were just to push on the front of your guitar neck without your thumb back there, it would just push your guitar away. You have to have your thumb back there pushing against the other side of the neck. Because like I said, if you just put one finger on there but no thumb in the back, and you start to push down, you're just pushing your guitar away. That's not what we're looking for. So you're actually creating like a vice. Your thumb's on the back, you're pushing your thumb towards the front. At the same time, you're pushing a finger on the front towards your thumb. So it all equals out, equal pressure. Okay, so what you're doing is taking your first finger up to your first dot or your third fret on that low E string, and you're going to play it with the tip of your finger. Okay, to finish building this bar chord, on the A string, your next string down. Okay, while you've got this here, you are going to take your third finger or your ring finger and stretch it to the next dot up, which is going to be your 5th fret. Okay, so now you've got, okay, now we have to use our pinky. It's going to go on the D string, this string, the third one down from the top. It's actually going to go right underneath your ring finger on the 5th fret of that there D string. So you've got these 3 notes. Now that's going to take a while, but this here's the most important thing you're going to ever learn in your life, is this right here. So don't skip it. This is all you need to know for a long time. Those 3 notes. So you've got your first finger on the 3rd fret of your low E string, your 3rd finger, which is your ring finger, on the 5th fret of your A string, your 2nd string down, and then your pinky is right underneath that on the 5th fret of your D string. So you have those 3 notes. I'm not beating the heck out of this thing. I'm going to get into it in a second. Now I'm going to show you what to do with this, okay? That chord will make you able to play every song in the world. Period. You can actually do this. Or at least 99% of them. Okay? But just by taking that chord and moving it around on the guitar. I'll show you how to do that. But in the meantime, here's what we got to do. We want this part, the meat of your right hand. Okay? So you're on your right hand, the meat part of it, resting on your strings. Here's the bridge, we discussed that. But I want it almost sitting on top of it. Almost on top of it. But just a little bit this side of it. You'll be able to tell when you're playing. I'll play with it too far this way, resting on there. While I've got that chord on it. Nothing. I'm going to start moving it back towards the bridge. Okay, that's what's called muting. M-U-T-I-N-G. You're going to mute it, but it's actually, or muffling it, but it's not like a real mute, because if it was actually muted, you wouldn't hear anything. Okay, but that's what gives you your good solid rock and roll chunk. Otherwise, if I was not doing that, you would have this, which is fine on some stuff, but it's sloppy. I'm going to show you how to when to let go of that. So I've got this G chord that we're playing, but we're going to mute it here. You're almost right on top of that bridge. I mean, barely off of it, but just enough to give it that chunky sound. So I'm pulling off every now and then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So I'm counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So doing that type of thing, you know, so you had to. Don't worry, I'm going to show you that next. Okay, so that is how you manage that. You're lifting off and muting. Okay, so that's how you achieve that chunky sound. Otherwise, like I said, everything you play is going to be boring. I mean, it's just sloppy. Otherwise, you learn how to control this right hand. Okay, so that shows you have to do that. Okay, what I was doing a minute ago, if you play that G chord, okay, here's something cool. If you actually do flatten out that first finger, which is okay for now, for what I'm getting ready to show you. Instead of playing on the very tip of your finger, the other two definitely you have to stay where you was. I'm actually lifting off those two fingers that are on the 5th fret and playing just the two middle strings, your D string and your G string, both on the 3rd fret, right where your finger was. So playing the two middle strings by flattening out that finger. And then I put my other fingers back where they go. And that's when I let up and don't mute anymore, is when I switch to the chord. Here's another cool trick. Same thing, but you're going to actually take your ring finger and flatten it out on the 5th fret and play those same two middle strings. Just the two middle strings. So you've got. Okay, all I did there was took the 5th fret thing we did, moved it up one. You can do all that kind of fun stuff, okay? Okay, so now what we're going to do is, now that you know this bar chord, it's not like you're going to learn it as quick as I'm showing you. You have to stop this video all the time and catch up with what I'm doing. I'm going to blast through this stuff. What I'm actually showing you is going to take you a couple weeks to actually learn it. I'm going to blast through it. We've got a half hour left, but I'm going to show you so much stuff between now and then, you're going to have to pause this all the time and catch up with me. Okay, I'm just going to give you all the information I can, but you just keep pausing this and take a day or two to learn each thing if you have to, whatever it takes to learn each thing and get it right. Okay, so don't get discouraged, because this will come very quickly. Okay, so we've got this chord. Now we're going to move on to what I like to call block patterns. Okay, so you're on G on the 3rd fret. You've got a dot there. We're going to take this whole entire chord and move every single finger down one string. So from here, I'm going to bring it in close. We're going to take everything and move it down one string. So now we're starting here on the A string. The second string down is your first finger, and then the other strings are like they were before, but everything is moved from here. Every finger, I'll get this finger out of the way. So it was up here, every finger moves down. So now you have, this is a C chord. Why? This first finger is always going to name what the chord is. So you're on an A string, A, first fret, A sharp, then B. There is no sharp after B. So that first dot is C. Then you just put those other two fingers down, and that is a C chord. Just like we did the G chord, it was an E, string, F, because there's no sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. Put the other two fingers down, there's a G chord. Same thing here, you're on the A string. A sharp, B, there is no sharp after B. C, you put those two fingers down. Okay? You've got a C chord. And you're only playing those three strings with your pick. You don't play all your strings. You only play the ones that you have your fingers on your left hand. Okay? So you don't play all 6 strings. You only play the ones that you have your fingers on here. Okay. So now we've got G. We've got C. Now we're going to take this whole thing and we're going to move it up. Up meaning towards the actual guitar. Okay? So we're going to move it up from this, where the dot is, to the next dot. The whole thing. So now we've started on the 5th fret on the A string, the 7th fret on the D string, and then your pinky right underneath that on the 7th fret on the D string. So we had C, now C sharp, and D. So we've got G, C, D. Okay, we're building a box. Here's a corner, here's a corner, here's a corner. You know, we're going to leave this one out for right now, but we're almost building a box. We're working on these dots. So you've got those 3 chords. Okay? And you notice I'm muting after each chord. Otherwise you got ugly. So this hand is very important down here to mute things with. Okay? So now you know that you can play these 3 chords. Work on those. And go back to the old 50 sound. Do this. Okay, that is simply your G 3 times. Move the whole thing down to your C twice. Move it up 2 frets to your D 3 times. Back to your C twice. Okay? So you're playing everything 3 times except for this C is twice every time. Okay, now your middle finger is doing absolutely nothing right now except for sticking out in the air. So if you want to be a true rock and roller or something, you can always, you know, flip the bird at the camera, you know, at the people out there. But anyway, you've got these covered. Okay, so now these can actually be played anywhere, these chords. I showed you a little bit of this old song called Smoke on the Water earlier, actually. I'll give that to you real quick. Same thing, you play that G bar chord. Then we're going to drop everything to the next string down, but we're going to move it all the way back here to the 1st fret. So you're playing right here by the nut. So 1st fret, then 3rd and 3rd fret. So you've got... Then you move it to your C, where you know that where that is already. It's where you dropped your G down, so you have... this song actually don't require much muting because that's the way this song sounded. There's the tough part. Okay, so you've got play it again. Now we switch it. We go one past that C, so we're going to C sharp, right past the dot. We only pick it once, but then as we pick it, we make sure we squeeze it hard and then drop the whole thing back down. So you've got. Okay, that's how she goes. Okay, so that's how she's played. So you've got actually G, B flat, C, G, B flat, C sharp, C, then G, B flat, C, B flat, back to G again. So that's how you do that. Now, I want you to mess around. All different keys. Put these everywhere. But remember, you've got things like that. That one's also built around a box type of shape. You've got here, then you go to here, and then here. Everything is like 2 frets apart from each other. So you got here, here, then skip 2 frets and back. Or you're here, and you're skipping 2 frets, and then up to 2 frets back. Or you could go... You're going to hear so many songs while you're just playing with those notes. Play around with them. You will not learn any faster than messing around with them. You're not going to learn faster by watching me from this point out on this stuff. Okay? So mess with all these. Find you another place. Generally, they're going to be on the dots. Okay? So you've got something here. Make up your own stuff. Just grab some chords, but you can always go and play these bar chords only on either that top string or moving them down 1 string. Okay, now there is one other thing. When we were doing this, now I was showing you how to just hit those couple middle strings. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use, okay, if we go to basic chord, I'm going to teach you your first regular chord, which is an A chord. Okay, we're putting your first finger on the D string, your D string on the 2nd fret. Your middle finger, G string, same fret. And your 3rd finger, same fret again on your B string. Then your high E string has nothing on it. You're going to be hearing, because you're going to feel that high E string touching the back side of the meat on your 3rd finger. So your chord is going to sound like... So you have to work on not letting any other finger touch any other string in any way. Okay? So I've actually got... Let's see if we can find you a good angle here. There's about as good as I can get. Anyway, everything has to be arched and curved. See how that chord is? I mean, it's like a tunnel in there. Okay? So everything has to be played with the tips of your fingers, arched and curved, so each finger touches 1 string and 1 string only. Okay? In this case, we actually have an A string. Okay? And then we would play the other 3 and the open E string. Actually 5 notes being played on this chord. That's actually an A chord. So we're playing 5 strings, not all 6. If you add that low one, it's not supposed to be there. Okay, now another way to play that chord is to only play with one finger, just like I was showing you with a, but to actually play that A chord, those three notes that I showed you that are all on the same fret, but just play them with one finger, and now your pick is only going to play those 2 or 3 strings. Those 2 middle ones. You can play that last one if you want to. I'm concerned about the 2 middle ones. But turn on distortion. All of a sudden you can play almost any song with one finger, okay, by just using those middle strings and some muting down here. Okay, that simply is just that one chord. I'm going up to the 5th fret, the dot. Okay, so you can play chords like that. So between these, or between going backwards, and also doing these, sound things out, just sound them out, you'll figure them out. Okay, but that's the easiest way to get songs going. You'll realize, you'll hear songs, you'll figure them out on your own. That's the easiest way to remember things, is you figure them out. Nobody is a better teacher than you. I'll give you the basic tools to build on, but a lot of this is improvising, creating your own style. I'm giving you the tools to work with. Now go out there and build, okay? So that's what we do with our distortion so far. I mean, later on we've got lead guitar. I've got a video out for that. That's all of your stuff like this. But that is on, another video. But you will get up to that. Now we have to concentrate on this. Okay, so there's what we're doing with bar chords. We're getting off of that now. We're going back to a clean sound, which means we're going to put our pickup selector, if you have this kind of guitar, back in the middle. And speaking of those type of guitars, real quick, if you have like a Fender guitar, okay, or something with a whammy bar on it, get rid of that whammy bar. It's going to make your guitar go out of tune. And then actually go to the back, take those 6 screws off that thing, open at the back, there's going to be some springs in there, there's going to be 2 screws right here. Tighten those things all the way up. That will actually prevent this bridge from moving, going. You don't want that. That will knock your guitar so far out of tune, you will not be able to live with playing it. It will frustrate you so much trying to play with a guitar that is out of tune. Here's another example of the Fender guitars. Yours might look more like this. Anyway, yours will have a 5-way selector switch on it if it's a Fender or a Squier type guitar. Your best sounding one, if you take that switch, push it all the way down, it's going to buzz like crazy. Bring it back one. All of a sudden all your buzz will go away. That will be these 2 pickups on, but that will cure your buzz. Again, I took the whammy bar, I threw it away, literally. I don't use them, period. Go to the back, I take the 6 screws off, tighten all those up so that this cannot move. Okay? So it's solid as a rock. It'll stay in tune forever. I actually even pack the back with toilet paper so you don't hear those springs ringing back there. But anyway, back onto the lessons. Okay, we're going to learn our regular chords before we get out of here. We got 15 minutes. I'm going to teach you all the chords. Okay, all your regular chords. So we started with A. We showed it to you. Okay, that's where they're all piled on top of each other. Once again, you got your open A string. First finger, 2nd fret on your D string. Your next finger right under it on your G string, and your ring finger, or your 3rd finger, right underneath it. on your B string. Then you have to hit your high E string open, and you have to be able to hear that, not like this. You have to arch them enough, you have to hear every single note. I'm not going to say that again, but you have to hear every single note. Okay, so there's A. Now here's the hardest one you're ever going to learn. This is a B chord, okay? Now I'm not going to show you a B7, okay? An actual B chord is played just like your A, but, okay, go to the second fret, you're going to take that one finger, you're going to put it starting on your A string, or your second string down this way, right here, on the second fret, and push it all the way across every single string. Then you're going to build that A chord again, but on the 4th fret, using different fingers, okay, but they're all piled on top of each other on the 4th fret, starting on your D string, then your G string, so your D string, your G string, and then your B string, and then you have to hear that top note. That's going to be the hardest chord in the world for you to play. But that's how it's played. All you actually did was took the A chord. It was here. Now your nut is back here. Now your finger is actually acting like the nut. You can take that and move it anywhere. You can move that chord all over the place, make new chords out of it. Okay, that's your B. Here comes your C chord. Okay, we're going to start on the A string. We got to find our C. Okay, there's A. First note is, okay, where we got A sharp, B. There's no sharp after that. There's C. We're going to start building off that, but we're going to use our ring finger, or our 3rd finger. The tips of our fingers only. Now on the next string down, your D string, we're going to put your middle finger on the 2nd fret. Again, you're trying to keep your fingers as close to the frets as you can without being on top of them. Lastly, you're going to skip over a string. You can play that G string all by itself, so you've got... Now we got to add, which is your 1st finger on your 1st fret. This is another hard one. And it has to have some major arching on it, or it's just going to not allow you to get that last string out. And then you're, okay, so you've got, then we have to have that last note, that high E string open. Okay, so it takes a while. You gotta arch them. Okay, D, so we went A, B, C. D is our friend. You're gonna love this chord. You've got a D string, your 4th string up from here. D, you can play it open. Okay, now we're going to go with our 1st finger to the 2nd fret on our G string, or 3rd string up. Then we're going to take this, being our middle finger, on the 2nd fret on the high E string. But now we have to add something in the middle. Our middle finger, or our ring finger, I'm sorry, our number 3 finger that we haven't used yet, is going to go on the 2nd string, which is your B string, but right on the dot, the 3rd fret, and we just play those 4 strings. Okay, great chord. We're going to stop on this one for just a little second. Pick up your middle finger. Put it back on where it went. Now we're going to add our pinky to the high E string right below our ring finger. Now take that back off. Middle finger off. Middle finger on. Pinky on. Pinky off. Okay, so here's another cool chord. Real quick, with distortion, I'm going to take this D chord. And I'm going to move it all the way up to the third dot, with the two fingers are, but then the other finger's going to be here. But we're up to the third dot. This is going to make it actually a G chord. Then I'm going to move it up 2 more frets. That's actually an A chord. Back to D. So, just to show you what we can do, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but you can work it out. Just cool stuff. Okay, so there's your D chord. Okay, now we're going to E. Okay, here's one that uses all 6 strings. It's the only one that does. Okay, we're going with our low E string all by itself. You're going with your second finger. Okay, that's your middle finger on the 2nd fret of your A string. Then right underneath it, you're putting your 3rd finger on the D string. Okay, now we've got 1 finger left. Your first finger has to go on the 3rd string, which is your G string, and put it down on your 1st fret. Everything else, next 2 strings, you have to play open. So that's all 6 strings. Okay? That's your E chord. You can take, which is cool, the 2 fingers that are on top of each other and just move them down one string each, and it's kind of cool. Okay, so there's E. We're going to go to F. This one sucks, but you got to do it. 1st fret. We're actually going to take our 1st finger and cover both strings, the E string and the B string. Has to cover both of them at the 1st fret. That's both those. Then we're going to build a staircase. On your G string, your 3rd string, you can put your middle finger on the 2nd fret for that note, and then you're going to put your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D string. So you've actually got a staircase. But here's the cool thing about that F. There's F. F sharp. G. G sharp. A. A sharp. B. No sharp here. C. D. You know, I mean, they just keep going up. So you can actually use that. Same chord over and over again. All I did was add a pinky directly underneath my ring finger. That's one of those chords you can use your pinky everywhere. Okay, there's one more chord. G chord. We did it originally like this, but now here's what it is. You know that G is here on the 3rd fret on that low E string. So you can use your middle finger there on the 3rd fret, G string, your 1st finger on the 2nd fret on that A string. Then we're not using anything else until we get down here to the bottom. We're going to add your ring finger on your B string, your 2nd string, on the 3rd fret, and your pinky directly underneath that on the 3rd fret on the E string. So you've got another great chord. Okay, we're running close to time. You can take these 2 fingers, move them both down. And again. Okay, so that's what we do. Our most famous rock songs. Write these down. Here's your 3 chords. You got D, then you go to C, then you go to G. Write those down. D, C, G. That's one famous pattern, like Sweet Home Alabama. That's how they play that. Another one, if you're in G, they go G, C, D, just backwards. If you're in the key of E, you're going to go E, A, B. Write those down. E, A, B. Okay, if you're in C, the key of C, it's going to be C, F, and G. Write them down. C, F, G. Okay, I'm just using this 50s sounding stuff to show you how the chords work, but you'll know how you want them to work. Like I said, I'm giving you the building blocks. You take them where you got to take them. Those are some of the most popular patterns. If you're in A, the chords are going to be A, D, and E. A, D, and E. Back to D. And you can sit here and fool around. You know, just whatever you want to with your hand over here. But these are your building blocks. Man, I hope you guys have got a lot out of this. Rewind it, pick up every single little thing. Get on the internet, print out pictures of, the chords. They've got them everywhere for free, so you won't forget them. But man, practice the heck out of these things. Go back, get those bar chords. Work them out, man. Beat the heck out of them. But keep your hand on there. Mute some stuff. Get some heavy crunch out of these things. If you ever want really heavy metal sounds, instead of here, from there, instead of going up to here, maybe go up just one fret and then back down to it. But that gives you your metal sounds and all that kind of stuff, little one fret away things. But anyway, I'm going to bend back down so you can see my pretty face. Anyway, once again, I'm Scott Grove, man. Use these tools. Have a blast. That's everything you're going to actually need to know. Get on the internet, print out the actual chord charts. They're everywhere. But anyway, go back and simply stop where you have to and learn it. When you're ready, hit play again. That's it. Have fun. Grab some other lessons if you get a chance from me. I've had a ball, man. You guys take care. Play loud, play hard. Rock and roll, man. Take care. Bye.